How do we get this out of this? First, we got to draw it. Here's how you do it. In the last video, we talked about how to design the headstock. Did you do 6 on a line straight string pull, 6 on a line non-straight string pull, 3 on 3 straight string pull, or 3 on 3 non-straight string pull? We've got our tuners laid out. We are ready to finally have a look at the body. Down here at the end of the fretboard, since we're going to be doing a bolt-on, I need to determine how long my neck pocket's going to be. Traditionally, it's going to be 3 inches from the end of the neck to the top of the neck pocket. So what I can do is decide here whether the end of my fretboard is going to be the end of my neck, or if it's going to have a little bit of a fretboard hangover, like this one. How do we do that? The end of the neck usually lands right underneath the final fret. If you're going to have a hangover, we can come back, mark a tick line right at the final fret, measure backwards 3 inches, and make another tick mark right there. If you're going to do the end of the neck, well then just measure 3 inches back from the end of the neck and make a tick mark on there. Let's look at pickups. Say we're going to do 2 single coils and a humbucker on this guitar. I want that neck single coil to land right at the 24th fret position. So what I can do is go back to my StewMac calculator, figure out where my 24th fret would land, measure from the nut to find that position, and that's where the center of my neck pickup is going to go. My bridge pickup, I want to have that in front enough so that if I use a pickguard, that will have enough room for the pickguard to go around it, and also to stay out of the way of my bridge. If I use, say, a Floyd, or if I use a typical 2-point fulcrum or a 6-point fulcrum like you would find on a Strat, I have to stay far enough away so that there's going to be enough wood for me to drive posts into the body. A good rule of thumb is to make the back side of your bridge pickup about 0.375 to 0.5 away from your bridge toward the neck. That should give you enough material to be able to drive and put posts in. The middle pickup, that's sort of up to you. That can go dead in between where you lay out the bridge pickup and the neck pickup. You can cheat the middle pickup back toward the bridge a little. You can cheat it toward the neck a little. That's totally up to you. To get the pickup shapes, bridge route, maybe the spring cavity if you're going to be using a Strat or a Floyd trim, onto your drawing, you can use templates. You can get these templates from StewMac. They offer a huge variety of plexiglass templates that are used for routing, but they're fantastic for being able to trace. There's usually a center line etched in as well. Sometimes with the pickups, there's a center position as far as, front to back. You could make your own templates. I also have some templates here that our good friends over at Musicians Institute Guitarcraft Academy in Nashville provided me with for this weekend so that I could shoot this for you guys. You could also look up images online, find those dimensions, print them out, and then use those to transfer to your draft. However you do it, you'll be able to get really good results with any one of those methods. Controls. What kind of controls are you going to have on this guy? So for this guitar, we need a way to be able to switch between all 3 of these pickups. I'm going to use a 3-way toggle for this because, quite simply, drill bits make round holes. And laying out a 5-way switch, getting one installed without proper tooling is pretty difficult. So using 3 pickups, I can use a 3-way toggle and probably a push-pull to activate that middle pickup. The bridge, there's a way that we can land the bridge. I think what I want to go with, this is sort of a roller style of a tune-o-matic. Here's how we get it landed. Set the high E string almost all the way forward. Typically, I don't need a lot of adjustment forward for intonation. Then I can find my intonation line right here on my draft. I can line up my high E string. If you're going to rock to either side, you may miss. I'm going to use a little square. Let me see if I can get this lined up. That looks pretty good. I need the saddle to hit right where the intonation point. Now that I have that set, I can pull the bridge away to hold my square there. I can mark where the front edge of the bridge is. I can come back and find that line using my protractor and get it marked all the way across. This particular tune-o-matic style has adjustment to be able to tilt if it needs to, front to back. And there's a good bit of intonation adjustment. That's another reason I like this one. If I was using something like this is a Nashville style tune-o-matic, I would want to compensate on the low side. I'd want to kick the low side back about 1/8 of an inch or so. So how do I find these bridge holes? I now know where my intonation line is. I know where the front edge of the bridge. I need to measure the bridge front to back. So this bridge is 0.672. I need half of that so that I can find where I'm going to drill these holes. That's going to be 0.336. So I can set my dial caliper to 0.336. I can come back from the front edge of my bridge line and I can just put a little mark. I do the same thing over here toward the low E side. Finally, I have to find the bridge spacing. So just using my dial caliper, I'm going to come in and measure between the two posts. That's going to get me 2.916. So if I divide that in half, that's going to give me 1.458. That I can mark from the center line out to my marks from the front edge of the bridge. It's going to tell me where I can drill the holes for the posts for this particular bridge. I can check to make sure I'm right just by setting the bridge down and making sure that those marks line up with everything. Once I have that, I know that that's exactly where that bridge is going to need to go in order for it to match up with the scale length and to be able to intonate the guitar. Should you want to use like a tune-o-matic with this, it's a really similar process, except all we got to do is just come back. I'll typically measure about 2 inches from the back edge of whatever tune-o-matic I'm using, and that's where I'm going to drop the thing. Then you just make sure it's square, measure between the two posts, divide that in half, drop it in. We'll talk about installing a Strat style or Floyd on a later video. Once we have all of this, now we can finally concern ourselves with a shape. The shape is going to have some variables in there. First of all, up here at the neck pocket, on the bass side, we need to have enough material to support the neck. If we don't, and we have a really steep cutaway on the high E side so that we can get up high to play, the neck can flop around. So that's why you will usually see a good bit of wood support to the bass side. I'm going to want to allow for that probably up to about the 15th fret or so. In order to lay out all of these curves, you can either use French curves, you can use a bendable curve, you can use an existing body template, or you can use an existing guitar. To trace an existing guitar, take a wooden pencil, cut the eraser off, go to a belt sander and sand it flat so that you have half of the pencil left. Now you can hold that flat side up to the body and scroll all the way around the guitar. That's going to give you the closest approximation to the actual shape of the instrument. As far as wire passages go, we need to have at least 3/8 to 1/2 inch. So 0.375 to 0.5 wide in order to be able to pass all of these wires through into our control cavity. Pickup routes. Now, with the pickup routes, are you going to mount all this stuff directly to the body inside and then mount everything into a ring? Are you going to direct mount them to the body? Or are you going to mount everything on a pickguard? I personally like to mount everything on a pickguard. That way, if I want to change up my pickup configuration later, it's really easy to do. I will draw a universal route that will fit all of the pickups and the controls that I want to lay out here, as well as have enough space for my pickguard to be able to cover that. As I draw the control cavity, I want to make sure that I have enough room to have the posts for my bridge. I don't want to go too far. I can also see that here I don't have enough room for this and a pickguard, so I'm going to have to modify body shape just a hair, just to give myself a little bit of additional lumber right there. Let's draw a pickguard. With that, I can probably extend my control cavity down just a hair. Since I'm going to have a pickguard in this huge hole here, I don't really have to worry so much about wire passages. If I was going to, I would drill from the pickup cavities into the control cavity. If you had just 2 pickups here, you could drill in through your neck pocket, across this way, and then into your control cavity. I, however, am going to put my output jack right there. Everything on the pickguard. Nice and simple. Anything that we've talked about in these 3 videos, you can use to adapt to your own guitar design. Be creative. Get out there. Draw something that hasn't been there. It might end up looking like a potato. If it does, congratulations. You'll have a 6-string potato. But do your own thing. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me again. This has been a blast. That concludes our entire How to Design Your Own Guitar series. You now know how to draft a full instrument. Eventually, I'm going to show you how to turn those drawings into templates and those templates into an instrument. Next video, we're going to talk about acoustic guitars, how to set them up, how to intonate them. We'll cover everything. We will cover action, making a compensated saddle. I have an acoustic guitar that could definitely use it, that is for sure. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.